An NOWJ is a direct ownership stake in an oil and gas property, but without the responsibility of operating the property. The investor receives a share of the revenue from the property proportional to their ownership percentage, but also bears a share of the expenses. A JOA is a contract between the working interest owners that designates one owner as the operator and defines the rights and obligations of all parties. In a syndication, multiple investors pool their capital to invest in a single oil and gas project or asset. The syndication is typically structured as a limited partnership, with a sponsor acting as the general partner and the investors as limited partners. Investors have a passive role, providing capital but not involved in operations or decision-making. In a blind pool fund, investors commit capital without knowing the specific assets the fund will invest in. The fund manager has full discretion to select and manage the assets. Investors have limited visibility into the fund's operations, and their returns depend entirely on the manager's performance. A flex fund spreads investors' capital across multiple oil and gas projects or assets. This provides some diversification, as the performance of the fund is not tied to a single asset. Investors may have some ability to choose how their capital is allocated among the various assets. Investors receive a consolidated K-1 tax form reporting their share of the fund's income and expenses. The fund may have some liquidity as the various assets are sold or reach the end of their lifespan at different times. However, returns still depend heavily on the fund manager's ability to select and manage the assets. Each of these structures has its own risk and return profile, and the suitability for a given investor depends on their individual circumstances and objectives.